Hey everybody, Drew Lentz, the wireless nerd here, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about using wireless technology to get business outcomes. It's something we heard a lot about last week at the HP Open House, and it's something that a lot of businesses are looking to transform the way that they sell and provide solutions and strategies to be more effective with the way that they deliver technology. So it's a lot less about the actual technology that's being delivered and more about what that business outcome or that overall solution is going to be. And so I wanted to touch a little bit on a couple of different technologies that we're hearing a lot about. We're hearing a lot about 5G, we're hearing a lot about Wi-Fi 6, and we're hearing a lot about IoT. There's also something called CBRS that's been popping up, and there are all these great things, but I mean, how do you apply them to business, and what is it that they can provide to you as a way to help you get a business outcome, help make your business run a little bit more smooth, or help it run a little bit more efficiently, or whatever it is. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and so I wanted to do it through a couple of use cases. And basically, the way that I like to think about it is from a few different perspectives. Like, say you're an enterprise CTO, for example. You've got this big enterprise to run, and you're trying to figure out which wireless technology is going to help you the most. And I think in a case like this, Wi-Fi 6 is probably going to be your best bet, because what Wi-Fi 6 does is it delivers a lot of capacity down at the edge, down to these client devices, in a way that you don't have to change the technology that the clients are holding in their hands, that the users are holding in their hands. Pretty much Wi-Fi is standard in a lot of different components that are out there. And so Wi-Fi 6 is really going to be your bread and butter when it comes to a wireless technology to really revolve around. And Wi-Fi 6 gives you all these neat tools: target wake time, resource units, the OFDMA stuff, all these fantastic tools to take advantage of Wi-Fi in ways that you've never had the opportunity to take advantage of them before. So like, for example, if you have thermostats that'll use a smaller sliver of your airtime versus video downloads that use a larger amount of airtime, those things now have specific resource units in Wi-Fi 6, so you get to take advantage of that technology without tying up the airtime. But you also have CBRS, and CBRS is this technology that's allowing you to do mobile offload or cell offload, so that the same style of devices that are involved in your overall technology plan, like an access point, the same style and form factor that go up on the ceiling, those can now provide cell access via CBRS. Now, CBRS isn't only for that, but indoors, when you think about office buildings or enterprise environments, they really play well with Wi-Fi 6, and so it's a really neat thing you have there. IoT, maybe not so much, unless you're doing like a larger deployment or you're doing a campus deployment. That's where the IoT stuff comes in. And 5G is great outside at connecting, buildings and devices in these large environments. But when you start to look at how 5G plays indoors, you really only talk about maybe a room or two. 5G on the high end doesn't really go through walls, and on the low end doesn't really give you that much of a capacity increase over what you can already get with Wi-Fi 6. So 5G is awesome if you're talking about connecting buildings together, but it's not so much if you're talking about an office environment, at least in my opinion, for right now, until we see a little bit more. So let's take it to a different market here. Let's say you're a municipality, you're a city, you're a state, you're a county, you're an agency. What technology works best for you? Well, in this case, maybe Wi-Fi 6 is not the best thing that you can use. Maybe now you start to look at CBRS. How can you provide your own private network for communications, either broadband or voice calling across an entire city or across an entire municipality? CBRS plays really strong there, as does IoT. You're talking about these huge distances where you're connecting in streetlights and smart grids and sensors and trash cans and Lord knows what else. Yeah, but they're very small amounts of data. IoT plays very well in that space, and the 5G component plays very well in that space also. You've got cameras out in different locations and highly high capacity driven sensors and video cameras that are tied into facial recognition and license plate readers and all this stuff that requires a lot of very low latency, high bandwidth. 5G can be really good for you in that regard also. IoT, again, that big area, the IoTs, the 5Gs and the CBRSs of the world, these are these large footprint technologies that are out there. And then Wi-Fi inside, Wi-Fi 6 works great, but Wi-Fi outside, maybe not so much, not as much at least as some of the other technologies play. But to switch it up a little bit and move over to, let's say, small business, you run a smaller business, maybe you have a couple of different locations, maybe you're just a single location with a number of users in your office. Wi-Fi 6 here is going to be your strongest play. Wi-Fi 6 is going to allow you to take advantage of the technology, deliver decent, high-speed amounts of bandwidth down to these user devices, down to different, sensors and thermostats and door locks and whatnot. Wi-Fi 6 is really going to to be probably your best bet there. Whereas 5G, you're not really connecting anything at super high speeds across the campus. You don't have this need for extremely low latency data from you out to a carrier network and then to another location on your network. Doesn't really make sense there. And then IoT, when you're looking at LoRaWAN or LoRa, these are technologies that cover huge areas, and it may not be something that you have or that's something that that you're really needing. So from that perspective of a small business, Wi-Fi 6, I see that working pretty well. Education, same thing, Wi-Fi 6, maybe CBRS in education, so you can offload some of those phone calls onto a different network. Maybe if you have a weaker cell phone signal inside your building, CBRS is going to be fantastic at doing that. But the last one I want to touch on is oil and gas and industrial, kind of these campuses where maybe you have a refinery, maybe you have some type of plant that's out there. That's a great use case for IoT. It's also a great use case for 5G. You have sensors that are spread across an area and you're trying to get that data back in. It's a fantastic way to do it. 5G is going to give you super high speed capacity to do that, and your IoT is going to give you low speed but long distances, highly contentious environments, like ports and stuff like that. IoT works really well. 5G is going to work really well there. But Wi-Fi outdoor, not really something to take advantage of with Wi-Fi 6. I think there may be some displacement there. Warehousing is another area that has some unique characteristics. And I think with warehousing, 5G may not be your best bet, because even though the warehouse is large, it's in one contained environment. So you might want to think about how Wi-Fi 6 plays into that and what you can take advantage of the different, technologies that are built into Wi-Fi 6 that are going to allow you to run a smoother operation with regards to warehousing. IoT will be great for your sensors. It'll be great for your flow control. It'll be great for all these different things. But again, I think Wi-Fi 6 is really going to be your strongest play when you talk about inside these warehouses. 5G, if you've got a campus of warehouses and you're trying to tie them all in together. But there's all these different ways, and I just want to highlight a couple of them. There's all these different ways that wireless technologies can be used, but it's all about what you're trying to do with it. What's your business goal? What's your business outcome? What are you trying to use wireless technology to do? When I give presentations at Interop, every year I do this 101 session, so I encourage you to sign up if you're interested this coming year. But at Interop, what I talk about is I ask everyone to hold up their cell phone and I say, okay, is this connected via 2.4? Is it connected via 5 gig? Is it connected via 3G, 4G, 5G? And the answer is no one cares, because no one does care. You don't care how your device is connected, regardless of what I just said. Those are kind of just great ways, use cases. But at the end of the day, from the CIO's perspective or the CTO's perspective, you don't really care about what technology it is that you're using to get the business outcome. You're just making sure that the business outcome is gotten to fast enough, it's quick enough, it's the most efficient thing for you. And to do that, you have to understand a little bit about these wireless technologies, and you really have to understand where they play and where they don't play from your perspective as the CIO or the CTO, so that you know where to fit them. It's kind of like having the right screwdriver in your toolbox. Same thing with wireless. So anyway, I wanted to shed a little bit of light on that for anyone that's interested. I'll be doing some more videos digging specifically down into each one of those and talking about the pros and cons and use cases and whatnot. So please stay tuned on my channel and feel free to share this out. I'd appreciate the support. I'm just getting started on the YouTube thing here, so all my subscribers, all my visitors, greatly appreciated. Anyway, if you have anything that you'd like me to talk about, please feel free to drop it in the comments. I work pretty good with writing prompts, so feel free to hit me up on Twitter @wirelessnerd and let me know what you'd like to see me talk about next. Thanks, and we'll see you soon.